Hey guys, so this is going to be the updated Flagburg build with the new support. Right now there is an empty slot in the deck, but I'm going to be explaining what the slot is relatively quickly. The premium starter, and let's just get right into this, and then I'll explain a little bit as we're starting. So the first thing is we're going to be playing 4 Riddled Honey. He is a staple. We're going to be playing, actually, 4 Megacolony Battler F. Apparently I don't have a 4th copy. I don't have a playset. 4 Quinagria. And then, I believe this is 3 Paralyzed Madonna. And then we're going to be playing Blessed Favor and Elementaria to complete our set. These are all the triggers. We're going to be playing 8 crit, 4 heal, 3 draw, over trigger. You can feel free to run Lena, who's the draw trigger that has an extra 5k shield. But I prefer to run F because the deck has a heavy soul cost. And you really just need to kill your opponent before they kill you. So, yeah. Oh, I guess for people who don't know, Elementaria is the new Sentinel. It is a staple. Basically, when your opponent has the triple drive ability, then this can be played without paying the cost, and you can play it in any clan. So, if you haven't gotten it and it's already $20, I'm sorry. For Butterfly Officer, I don't know why I was playing 3 before, because killing your opponent is an important part of the strategy. It also gives you counter charge, it also gives you soul, it's mandatory. For Dorcas, consistency is super important in this build, especially with this new build we're doing. It also has high power, so you can use it as a front row if you somehow don't draw the cards you need. It's really funny when you paralyze your opponent and they can't intercept with the card. It also gives you counter charge, you know, so that's important. Alright, so this is actually the card that I'm thinking we're going to be cutting for this build. This is also going to be relevant for the other Flagburg build for those that are interested, so here's my binder. I'm actually thinking we're going to be replacing it with Stamping Red. And for those not aware, with Stamping Red, when it's placed on Vanguard or Rearguard, can counterblast and choose one of the opponent's rearguards to Cradle. And if you do not, then you get to draw a card. This is really important, just because it buffs your consistency more. You do lose the 10,000 power base, but the consistency is way more important in this build when you have to deal with getting to these grade 3s. You can also consider running this in the normal Flagburg Premium Megacolony build, just because some people don't vibe with the Sentence Assault, and they're like, it's just a restander, and it's like, yeah, you're hitting your opponent again. What the fuck do you mean you don't want to hit your opponent again? But yeah, definitely a great option for consistency and advantage if you're going for it. Not that advantage is really the primary focus of this deck. So, yeah. Finally, for the card we're cutting. So, just like the Ghidorah build. Jeez. Anyways, so we're going to be cutting 2 of these. So we're going to be running 10 grade 2s, and this is why consistency is so important in this build. This is why we're going to be running Stamping Red instead of Ascendance Assault, because we absolutely need to draw more cards. I guess in that perspective you should run Molina as well, just so you can get like draw triggers and such, but yeah. Oh shit, I think I know what this card is. Ah, no, I didn't know what this card is. For the last 4, Elite Me Giraffe. He's broken. Run him. So that means I know what this card is. Never mind. I'm terrible. Flagburg. You run 4 of him. It's his build. It's really simple. How did I have that out of order? Crazy. Anyways, so we're going to be running the triple inlet pulse package with intrude scissors. Intrude scissors is just super important for the build. He restands your rear guards, and he also buffs himself up a bunch, so he can be really threatening to your opponent's vanguard. A lot of people don't expect intrude scissors because he gets really, really big. And if you call him with Gridora, because you can shuffle him back with Gentle Wealth repeatedly, then he'll actually be a 32k body. If your opponent didn't damage check a trigger, then that's going to be 32 to 3 or 2, 1, I guess, in some builds. And that, like, self-explanatory, really good card. And finally, for the last card in the deck, we're going to be running the Shelling Cannon Dragon. I would say to run 2, and that's going to be what the running less Armor Beetle does. So basically at the beginning of your battle phase, which that's already a whole thing, it has to be in the back row center, and if you have Flagship Flagburg, and your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, you can counterblast 1 until the end of the turn. You can attack for the back row and get 10k. This is so good. That's it. It's good. Like, it's a 23k body that multi-attacks. The only issue is that it attacks a lot, and the more I think about it, the more I like the old Flagburg build more, which is why I have it still here for the most part to show. I still wanted to talk about the differences in the deck concept that I had because, I don't know, I really wanted to. Shelling Dragon's a really cool idea, but unfortunately, Megacolony, he's really bad. So one thing you could do if you were like really concerned about the counterblast costs is you can also run Makeup Widow instead of you could run less F and more Widow, for example. Or even run... no, it's pretty tight. What are you coming and talking about? The only other thing that could probably help the build more is if there was more Soul Blast costs. Like out of all the cards that Soul Blast, like there's Sticky Bolus, which this isn't a Gridora build. Megacolony Battler S, which God forbid. I was thinking of playing M, but High Class Moth and Butterfly Officer are too important. This is kind of last chance Soul Blast. Bloody Hercules is okay. And then, you know, the rest, none of them are Soul Blast. So it's definitely hard. Hey guys, editor Tchomp here. I actually wanted to make a note about this card, but I totally forgot about it. In the future, this should be what the replacement for Ascendance Assault in the normal Flagburg build looks like. This is Tier Knight Alex, a grade 2 that at the end of the battle would attack a Vanguard. If it's the second battle, you could Soul Blast 1 to stand it. This is literally perfect. Like, this is exactly the card that the Flagburg build needed. Not only does it get power, so it's a 15k base, but you can also do this after Inlet Pulse. This makes the Inlet Pulse turn even better, and it saves some counterblast for Megacolony builds. So we might see a more diverse grade 1 lineup in the future. I would have to do a lot of testing to see how it works. You do lose the free rearguard from Soul, because Ascendant's Assault would be no longer a part of the build. But I think that's totally fine because this makes up for a lot of the costs, so you're able to do a lot more. It also means that opponents would have a much harder time restricting your costs because you are spending less counterblast. But I just wanted to point this out because this card is awesome. If you put Butterfly Officer on it, it's 25k, which means it's not bad in the slightest. I like that this card was literally made for Inlet Pulse, but Megacolony is going to be stealing this now. It's a Megacolony card now. Sorry, Aquaforce. You are belong to Megacolony now. I would say experiment with it at your own leisure. I really like the base Flagburg build. I think it's a very strong build, and it's still, for the most part, consistent. I have had issues where I just don't ride Flagburg, which is why I wanted to talk about Stamping Red for those that like didn't know about the card. You could allegedly move Armored Beetle out instead of Ascendant's Assault, so you can still have the 10k base and you could be running Stamping Red. But the reason why I don't want to do that is because Armored Beetle is a free card, and having access to a free card in your build that is still able to use all of its abilities is really, really important in a cost-heavy build like this. Especially since you have to be really aggro, you have to constantly pressure your opponent while still gauging your hand resources. Like, yeah, it's just ideal. And that's everything. Oh wait, no it isn't. Alright, so you know how it is. Merwed, Grisfort, Flasia, Relish Lady, although I'd run 2 more Potion instead of that. Zoa, Tyrannus, Overwhelm. You only need 2 Malig. You could run more than 2, but I really don't know what the point of that is. Ghidorah. Overwhelm. I have Ghidorah. I don't know why I don't have them in this build. Unless I throw it down already. I hope everyone has a nice night. That's really the whole build. There's not a lot more explanation. It plays like the Flagburg build. You gotta be aggro. A lot less control. I'm going to be talking more about the price of the deck later. I really just threw my old G-Zone down and said, card game. I have 2 new doors. I need to open them. God, I need to open all the cards I guess on. Oh. But have a nice night, everyone. Honestly, I'm glad that I got around to making this. I don't know. There's something about this build that's so fun and cool, and like all the new cards we've gotten for Megacolony and stuff, like Bushy Road. When I see Megacolony's future, I'm like looking at this deck, and that'll be another video for another day. But I don't know, the multi-attacking, the power reduction, the stun, like this is like the gimmick. Like, this is gimmicks. Like, this is what Megacolony is. It's fucking with your opponent, right? Okay, but I'm gonna stop because I'm nerding the fuck out. I hope everyone has a nice, lovely day or night, depending on where you are.